just started doing something, and I said, "Wait, I need to get that recorded."
Oh dear.
Destiny, you have
beautiful.
this look of fear of what your husband's about.
Yeah, at the new music school, we were going to offer rap classes.
So
Yes. Could we?
100%.
Jason. Remember Jason rapped the other
definitely
Sunday?
won't be by Josh.
Hey, you don't know.
You don't think he's a good rapper?
I'm an amazing
You're
rapper.
about to find out.
Okay, let's see.
All right, here we go.
Okay, so wait.
Give me a
Josh
beat. Give me a beat,
started rapping, and I said, "Wait, is this a clean rap?"
100% clean. All
It's like
clean.
a Christian rap.
It's all Christian. That's all I know.
What tempo? What beat do you need?
Just kind of a. Can you do that?
Okay, yeah, here we go.
All right, here we go. Yo, look at my skin. I'm as white as can be, but I speak freak as the Holy Spirit in me. No chains in the world can hold me down. I'm bringing the message with a whole new sound. Sound of the bass kick and the snare. Reporters in my enemy, they better beware. What? I could keep going all night, girl. It's beautiful.
Whose rap is that?
Just something I wrote when I was a kid.
No, you did
I
not.
did.
No,
Yeah.
Shut
with
the
your
Yeah,
friends.
with my friends.
Shut
yeah.
the front door. You wrote
Yeah,
that?
when I say get you say hands up. Get your
Hands up.
Get your
Hands
Come
up.
on, Jimmy. You are leading this class
That is
too, buddy.
sick.
Yeah.
No.
I never wrote a rap. I listened to lots.
Oh yeah.
Do you remember DC Talk?
Yes.
Love DC Talk.
Did you? Like you listened to lots?
Oh, yeah.
I came in at the end.
That's
Toby
because
Mac.
Josh is slightly older.
Yeah,
than
he's
you.
40.
How'd that rap go?
I'm not
Jesus
gonna do
freak.
it.
Yeah.
Oh, I know Jesus
Some-
freak.
Some man with a tat on his big
There
fat
was a
belly.
man with a
it
wiggled around like marmalade jelly.
It took me a while to catch what it said because I had to match the rhythm of his belly with my head. Jesus saves it, what it red and typical tattoo green.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
stood in the box in the middle of the city and you
Yeah,
claimed you
yeah.
had a dream.
Yeah. What will people think?
Sing it, man.
They hear that I'm a Jesus freak. Kevin Max, who that was Michael Tate, Kevin Max, and Toby Mac, I think, right?
Yeah.
Oh, man.
It's beauty.
They don't make music like they used to.
No.
Not like the glory days, man.
I'm not gonna say I'm sad.
Really? You don't miss it?
No.
Remember KJ52?
Oh,
After
yeah.
that?
100%.
What was his song?
I don't know. Wasn't he the Eminem guy?
KJ5 Tweezy.
Didn't he like?
I think he copied
imitate
Eminem.
Eminem?
Yeah.
Yeah. Without swearing. Without the swears. Well, that just happened, people.
Are we really live right now?
Yeah, we are really live. No, I recorded you. Everything you rapped is
Come-
going out there for the people.
For anybody that
Wow.
just missed it, Josh showed me a message and it says, "Is this live?"
That's the best.
That is not. I said I'm pressing record, John.
Oh,
Okay.
man. I thought you were joking.
Are you? Are you getting nervous now that that's all over the web?
No, I don't really care.
But
I've
you're
got
gonna
no
be
shame.
famous.
Oh yeah. You like. There's gonna be people hitting you up for that. I was gonna say
Bro.
CD, but
I'm the next. Was it Frank or Forrest?
Forrest Frank.
Forrest Frank, yeah.
Frank Forrest.
Frank
I
Forrest,
don't know.
whatever his name is. He sells out like every concert.
how many songs did you write? Have you written?
Like rap songs?
Any?
I've written a few rap songs
Did you want to be a rapper?
when I was younger. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, I used to play a lot of b-ball, basketball. So I definitely it kind of goes with the
Definitely.
sport, rap and
Interesting.
basketball. Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
But you're pretty white.
Bro, do you see how dark I am right now? This tan is just like.
Isn't it you that Josh, can you actually scoot in a little bit closer to
Sorry.
Dustin? Just pull the mic in. Josh, isn't it you that has African American up your line? Or no?
No.
Or is that just
That's
Logan?
me.
No, that's my wife.
You do?
Yeah, she
Yeah.
does. 100%.
That was an intro of a lifetime. But you know what? The other week, Logan started with an AC/DC song.
Oh my
Back in
goodness.
Black.
Beauty.
Did you guys hear that podcast?
No.
I've not
Do you
listened,
guys
but now I'm
not-
for sure going back to listen to that one.
You guys don't listen to the Backstage Pastor?
I do.
Oh, we do. We do.
We actually listened
What
to
was the last
a
one,
bunch
Josh?
of them.
What's the last one that we
The
listened
last
to?
one that we actually listened to, like the last time was
Yeah.
actually we went and re-listened to Sarah Bashaw's and her mom's.
And so did our son. A
That
couple
is
times.
okay. That is a great podcast.
Just- yeah.
But
We've
that
listened
was
to it
a
a couple times.
long time ago.
that was.
But that was one of the ones that we re-listened to.
I feel like for me, I
Yeah,
don't
it was
always
so
get the
good.
notifications that, hey, like, there's a new one out. There's a new one
Yeah.
out.
Well, you know what? That's a
You
great
should follow them
segue. You need
on
to subscribe to
Spotify.
Evangel Downtown's YouTube channel. You need to follow Evangel Downtown's Instagram and Facebook. And then, Josh, you need to go on to Spotify and Apple Podcast. Type in The Backstage Pastor and hit subscribe or follow or something.
Something like that.
And then you'll get notifications.
My wife's techie. She can do that for me.
He can't do that by himself.
No.
Josh probably doesn't even know how to find a podcast, if I'm being honest.
Hey. Come on now. Give me a break.
If it's
just-
not an Insta reel, he can't find
He
it.
doesn't know how. Is that why your guys' Facebook is shared?
He
Do you
just,
Probably.
DC
Back-
Ward?
way back in the day.
he for sure probably might not know. I can tell you he doesn't have an email address.
I use my wife's. That's
No
pretty
way.
bad, eh? I know.
You don't even have one from the early days.
Oh, I do, but I can't remember the password. Sorry, I'm a little ancient.
Was it Gmail?
No,
Hotmail.
Or like
Hotmail.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That
That's
is
how old it
so funny. Well, I always wonder because you guys have the same, you share a Facebook account and I never know who's commenting.
If it's
Probably
Like
most of the
somebody's
time
like,
it's probably-
oh,
it's
you
actually
look,
probably-
correct, it's me.
Yeah. If
but
it's
sometimes like, oh, Jimmy, you look really strong
that
and handsome. And I'm like, is this Josh or is this
Definitely
Destiny?
Josh.
that's me.
You guys need
If
to
there's
put,
a lot
like,
of exclamation marks, it's Josh.
right.
Or weird emojis.
Yeah.
Has Josh always done everything big?
Yeah,
all
everything
out?
is just like
Yeah, pretty much.
Rap, loud, exclamation marks,
Yeah.
1,000 emojis that follow
big
up.
personality.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, we got to get into the podcast here. Here's why I brought you guys on. Evangel Downtown just launched. Done. Something beautiful that we are very, very excited about, which
Can
is
we
a
just do
step, which is
snare
a stepping
and
stone.
cymbal? Just
Okay, let me get ready here. Okay, Evangel Downtown just launched Evangel Music School.
wow.
And we are so excited about it. And this is the beginning step in the direction that we want to go for some dreams that are so much bigger than just this. But this is the first step, and we're very, very excited about it. And Evangel has done a school of ministry in the past. I think 2 different kind of ones for 4 or 5 years. But we've had a dream for a long time, and prophetic words and everything that have been spoken over us, and a deep desire to have a school of ministry. People coming from all around to Little Fort St. John.
Yeah.
Come on.
What good can come out of Fort St. John?
A lot.
A lot.
A lot.
What good can come out of Nazareth?
Come on.
JC,
Come
Jesus. You guys ever notice that it's like these little out of the way places that the Lord just uses so much?
Yeah.
Unlikely places.
It's good.
Even Church Renewal, which we've been walking with for 10 years now, is based out of a church in Steinbach, Manitoba. I've told you guys
Yeah,
this.
it's crazy.
Yeah.
The town of Steinbach is like 14,000. And the church was, I think it's maybe a little smaller now, but maybe pre-COVID, it was
Yeah.
like 5,500.
That's crazy.
Almost
wow.
half the town.
Wow. Wow.
And it's like, it feels like the Lord just uses these little like out of the way places and or people, locations. David,
yeah,
the
come
little
on.
shepherd boy, the
Yeah.
most unlikely places, unlikely characters,
Come on.
and just does something beautiful there. So
Yeah.
we felt for a long time that this is coming down the road. We're not necessarily sure when, but the Lord's slowly putting these puzzle pieces together, and it's puzzle piece after puzzle piece coming together. Right people, right place, right time is coming together.
Yeah.
And so one of the things that kind of came along is like, we want to start making steps toward this big vision that we have, this discipleship and this worship ministry and teaching the word and all these different things.
Yeah.
And we want to start stepping towards that, right?
Yeah.
Not just having this as like this big pie in the sky dream, and then we never actually take a step towards it.
Yeah.
And so we reeled that back, and what do we have? Evangel Music School, because we have just a deep desire, not just to train, which we're going to get into, I'm sure, not just to train music and skills, but actually like deep discipleship and learning what worship is, and learning what character is, and learning how to deal with sin, and to hear God's voice, and to walk in the power of the Holy Spirit, and in your gifting, which might be guitar, or it might be flute, or it might be rap, Josh.
Kayla's going to be super happy to hear that you mentioned flute.
Does she play flute?
She's been asking, can I teach?
Yeah.
I can play flute.
And Sarah,
Is she
really
good?
Too.
She did it for a lot of, and choir, believe it or not. She like traveled with some of like the bigger choirs.
That's crazy.
In
Oh,
the
yeah.
United
I realized
States.
asking the question, is she good? You can't, you only have one answer, because
Yes.
she'll hear this.
Totally.
Kayla, we know you are good.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Interesting. Mary played flute for a little bit too,
And Sarah.
back in the day. Sarah
Yeah,
Brad.
Sarah
Yeah.
McBride.
Totally. She's amazing too.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Wow.
Super awesome.
Jordan Coop plays trumpet. Oh no.
Sax.
Yeah.
Larissa plays trumpet.
Larissa does. play
Oh my
trumpet.
goodness. We could
I
teach
know.
everything.
And I also play trombone.
And you rap, Josh.
And I rap. I know.
We're definitely not going to let him teach trombone because that was a lot of years ago.
Also, you do not, do you?
I do.
he
Yeah.
does.
Yeah.
No way.
For sure.
Have you seen that reel where this like moped comes out from around the corner, but before you see the moped, you hear like, and you think like a crotch rocket's going to come around the corner, and it's a
Guy on with the trombone.
a guy with a trombone. That sounds exactly like a revved out
That's
engine, and
hilarious.
it's like these two guys, the back guys, all this trombone or whatever.
That's
We should
hilarious.
recreate that.
That's funny.
So we have some big dreams, and know that the Lord is in them. And even since announcing this, just so much positivity and people reaching out, and so many people even reaching out to you guys, like after the service, and giving you guys prophetic words. And it feels like
That's
something
crazy.
is just coming to fruition. It's time, right people, right place.
Yeah.
And now it's right time for
Yeah,
this.
we were definitely both super encouraged after Sunday service.
Yeah.
Like just
Yeah.
just so many words.
What were some of the things that just like people said, whether it was like prophetic words or just like something super encouraging?
I know for me, like just again, people coming up and just being like, "I've got your back," like
Wow.
that. I'm with you in
praying
this.
for you.
I'm praying
Yep.
for you. And then again, it was really cool because on Sunday morning, Selena had spoken the word just like bold and courageous.
Yeah.
And then we had a text message just from another person like the next day that said, "Hey, like I was actually gonna tell you on this on Sunday, but I didn't get a chance." And then Selena said it. But she said the word that I actually got for you guys, or the words, was to be bold and courageous. And
Wow.
so just super cool. And even our kids, like, again, like just opening up their phones, and like their phones would just like open up to like a reel, and it would just be like scripture of like exactly what's happening for us in that moment. And just like
for your family.
Yeah.
God just like reminding us that he's with us in this, and just random people just texting us things right at the moment in which
Oh
it's like,
man,
perfect
so
timing.
much. Yeah.
perfect timing.
Wow.
So just again, like just that constant reaffirming that like he is with us, and that like the body is with us.
Yes.
It's just super, it's just been
Right.
super encouraging, just super affirming
Yeah.
that we're walking in the right direction, that he's got our back.
So
and people
true.
got our back.
Yeah. Even though there's like nerves, and there's like, we aren't fully sure what it's going to look like.
100%.
You know, like faith always takes faith. It's
Yeah.
like, okay, we feel like we're obeying you, Lord.
Yeah.
We feel like we need to do this. It's right place, right time. But still just like not necessarily easy though either, you know. Just different sacrifices you make, and job change, and
Yeah, it's
everything.
been crazy. Wild season.
I would love to go back and kind of catch your guys' heart. Who you guys are. You guys have been married almost 20 years. That's crazy. You must
Been
have got married
together
like
for 21.
21. Yeah.
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 wow, that's crazy.
Yeah.
That's wild.
Yeah.
Go back into your story. When did the dream specifically, like you don't have to tell us about grandma and all the different things or whatever, unless it relates to this.
So
but I would love for you to like catch us up on like, when did this dream start? When did you guys start loving music and then worship and then and the Lord? And when did this dream for a music school come about? And also share the word, the word that you felt like the Lord said when you stepped into Evangel the other year.
Yeah.
too.
I think again, like for me, I mean, well, both of us actually, we've always, we were both raised in the church. So I think the call to worship has probably been on both of our hearts since like the moment.
Very young age.
Sorry, I'm just moving it for you.
I know,
Keep talking.
I have
Don't
a
get
fear of
distracted.
microphones. Ironically, as a vocalist, like I think we both from very young ages. Like I've been on like a worship team, so to speak. My like childhood pastor at like, I would have been maybe 4, like just like put me and one of my friends up on the stage, like these 2 tone deaf toddlers
Singing.
just singing backup on a Sunday morning.
Was it like a little kind of community church or?
It totally was a little community church.
Yeah.
And so again, just recognizing that he used to call us the dynamic duo. And just but he recognized that. He recognized just the heart of worship, and he just fostered that. And then again, just throughout my life, just always wanting to participate in that, even in seasons where like maybe I wasn't, or not even maybe, where I wasn't living my life fully surrendered to the Lord.
Yeah.
Like again, I had some hairy teenage years where it was like I wasn't submitted to the Lord in full. And even in that, just there was still a recognition from leaders in my life that this is what God had called me to do, and they weren't going to let me lay that down, like no matter what. Like my youth pastor's wife, just Elizabeth McGugan was her name, just constantly fighting for me, and sometimes like not against me, but like against like my hairy teenage self,
right?
Like that prickly side of me, where I was just like, I'm just gonna do whatever I want. Like she was like, you're gonna come to youth group and you're gonna play the piano, and you're gonna play the piano on the stage, and just like walked me through so many things in my life just to bring me to where I was when we met. And then you can tell your side, and then we can like
we have a pretty similar story. I mean, I still remember like being around like 7 or 8 years old and hanging. We used to have like lots of altar calls and stuff back in the day.
Pentecostal
church, right?
Your dad was a pastor, right?
Yeah. He was. He actually just evangelist, kind of preached around and filled
itinerant.
Itinerant minister, but.
Yeah. So anyways, so I would always, after the service, so altar call sometime would go on till 10, 11 at night. And then I'd wait till there's like 2-3 people left, and the piano player would still be playing. And his name was Ray Pico. Beautiful, amazing guy, super talented. And he would give me the old, like, all right, you can go ahead. You can go up on those drums, right? He give me the old, like, he'd look at me.
Like it was kind of closed down.
Yeah, there's like 2 people left in the room, right? Because, I mean, I couldn't. Like I could probably keep a little bit of a rhythm, but not for the most part, not. Totally. So I would jump up there and he would probably play 3 or 4 songs, and I still remember that, and I'd be like, man, that was super impactful for me, and I feel like that's kind of where my journey for
believed in
love. Yeah, I just believed in me. I was like, you know what, you probably sound terrible. You're probably like off rhythm, off beat, but man, like you just hung out in this altar call for like 3 hours
to wait.
Crazy, right? And then,
which for anybody that knows Josh, that's not
my
his personality.
It's not a personality.
He doesn't wait patiently for anything.
If I preach 5 minutes long, he's sleeping.
I'm sleeping. I'm just like,
or God.
It's
God.
so true.
I'm just. But no, I would just wait, and then I had my time to like just go and just play, and man, and then I feel like that's where really like the Lord put that desire in me just to worship through music. And then in youth group, I played lots of instruments. Didn't really lead worship a whole lot at that point, but just like played drums, played bass, played guitar.
But guitar, back that up, but how did that start? And tell everybody the name that you call guitars.
Yeah,
At what age?
So,
At what age?
around, I guess it would be probably around like 11 or 12. I had my aunt Grace. She actually would teach me, and the woman had incredible patience. She just
Yeah,
recently passed away, and but oh man, she was a gem. Like, she's my aunt, but she was like a grandma to me,
Right.
and we were just super close. And yeah, she would just literally take the time and just pour into me and just be like, man, like I'm gonna teach you, Josh. Like, you're gonna sit here and I'm gonna like work with you, and and she would teach me that, that D string and that and just patiently, and every time I went over, she would just be like, yep, let's sit down and and then I just grown just to love the guitar, and I would go home and I would practice, and I would come in.
But what did you call a guitar?
Yeah, so I would come in her house, and then there's basically, you walked in her door, and then there was an upstairs, and then there was a downstairs right away. You could like literally walk up or down, split entrance. So I would like beam for the downstairs, and I would just almost go head first and just boop, 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 all the way down the stairs. And the guitar was in the corner, and I would just run to that thing.
Because you didn't have one.
No, I didn't have one at that point, right? So I would grab it, and I would just like literally just play until I left, right? And I called it a T-tar. It's a T-tar!
I also love to reference the fact that this was when he was 11.
This was when I was 11. Yeah,
I was going to say that seems like a 4-year-old or 3-year-old kind of thing.
Yeah,
a T-tar.
A T-tar. Yeah.
You still don't call it that though, hey?
No, I had grown up a little bit.
When you got married.
When I got married.
Yeah, I had to tell him the right name.
Yeah, but then that moved through like youth group and getting involved in worship, and just had amazing youth pastors, amazing leaders in our life. We had a youth group of about 50 people, and they were just like, they loved the Lord, and we probably would play and worship together 3 or 4 times a week, going to the church and practice and play. And yeah, it was just amazing community.
Interesting. So both since you were young.
Yeah.
When did you guys maybe share the timeline of when you started like leading worship? You guys got married, moving out here, putting a worship band together, the start of like a dream to one day do a school.
I think when we really started leading worship would have been after we got married, just before we moved to Newfoundland for me to go to college or university.
Right.
And we did a little bit of leading in our like home church, which is the church that we met in, Full Gospel Assembly in St. John.
Right.
And his cousins are the pastors there. And just gave us an opportunity to just, I guess, hone in and like explore that, because up until that point we had both played instruments, and I had done like backup vocals and played keys or whatever they needed, basically, is what we did.
Right.
But it was just before we left that we actually had a chance to like really come together and do that in like a corporate setting. And then we did a lot in youth group over the years with that too. And then we moved to Newfoundland, and we were so busy. Like, I was in university, he was like working full time. We had a toddler at home. But we both got to a point where we just grieved. We were like grieving that. And part of it is because I don't know, lots of people who are listening to this don't know Josh and I super well, but we don't, like, Josh is a sporty guy and I'm round. No, Josh is like, no, I'm totally fine with it.
Can you define sporty?
He just, everything he does, that's physically active or requires any kind of movement, he just excels at. And I can't even hit a golf ball.
Babe, you did great at Topgolf.
I did.
You actually beat me.
Okay.
I was going to say, you're going to get good at golf.
I will. But we just don't, like, as a married couple, at that point especially, we don't have, there's not a ton of like common ground in terms of like hobbies.
Yeah.
And so that was the one, I think we grieved that. Like, we just grieved that connection point for us.
Right.
And so when we moved here, which was in 2012, I accepted a teaching position at CLS. And we moved here we were looking for a home church.
Yeah.
And just didn't know. We were like, I have no idea like what we're
But
gonna
you did
do.
come to Evangel.
We did.
Once
We
or
did.
twice.
A couple times, yeah.
Back in the day.
Back
You
in
guys
the
were
day.
just too
And-
modern for us at that time.
Yeah, and you came with grandma and grandpa or something?
Yeah, we
yeah.
did.
Yeah.
And they were like old school.
Yeah.
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 They like my grandpa wore like 3-piece suit.
Yeah. He's like, I can't believe the pastor's wearing jeans up here.
It was so
Yeah, he
funny.
probably wasn't even in flip flops or nothing. Like actually just like jeans and a button up shirt.
Oh,
Yeah.
buddy. Now we're just like, that's just normal. But when
So
we
it was
first
too
came,
mu-
you
too-
just wore dresses. Like you wore dresses to church. You came Sunday
Yeah.
or
Too
Sundays,
much.
which is good.
Evangel was too much.
So it was like, yeah, plaid shirt, plaid button-up shirt with jeans. But we were like, what's happening? Where's the reverence?
That is so interesting.
So funny. So funny. We've walked out of a lot of things. But
because
no.
the Lord, wait, I just want to make this clear. The Lord is more happy with those who are dressed well on Judgment Day than those who are wearing shorts and flip flops.
Yeah, Josh is
You
in
get an
trouble.
easier judgment.
Josh is wearing shorts and flip-flops.
That's why I'm wearing shorts and flip-flops today.
So bad. No, it was again, we spent a lot of time just in prayer. And the Lord actually one day after work I was like walking out to my car and the Lord actually told me to go back in and find Laura Gullison.
Interesting.
And so I went in and I said to her, I was like, hey, the Lord told me to come and talk to you. I don't know what you guys need, but we actually love to worship. I was like, we're worship leaders.
Right.
We would just love to come and help you however you need. And she's like, I've been praying so long that you would come and talk to me.
Crazy.
And that's kind of how it started, was just literally
CLC.
was CLC,
Yeah.
Christian Life Church. And
2012.
Yeah, in 2000,
Yep.
September at this point of 2012. And we just started leading worship there. And then through like a whole series of events, I ended up getting asked to help, or we rather, but it was through me, got asked to help down at Kings Valley Camp.
Right.
Do a youth camp, lead
Yeah.
at a youth camp. And just through that, just began to create a team.
Yeah.
Interesting.
So Josh at this time was the youth pastor at CLC. I was
Really? I didn't know that.
yeah.
So you're
we were
meeting with them
We were
every
hired for a couple of years
yeah.
there. Yeah.
So every single week meeting up with the youth.
Yeah.
Yeah. Totally.
So that's, and I had small kids at the time, so I wasn't able to like be in it with him. So I have a lot of like compassion for like moms whose husbands are like having to like go off and do these things, and you're just like, I have to stay home and I don't get to be in this season.
Right. Yeah.
Because that was us. But through this, like through a series of events, he knew he had connections with all these young people. And so when we were asked to do this youth camp down at Kings Valley Camp, he was like, I know this person and this person. And then those people knew people. And so we just formed kind of like a youth / young adults band to help us do this camp. And just since then have been bringing in different people. And we still, even to this day, like Larissa, who is going to be one of the instructors with the school.
Yeah.
She was like one of, like when we first started up the team, she was our like electric guitar player.
Yeah.
Now she's like our super cool girl.
Our
drummer.
everything. Yeah.
Yeah, she is our everything. But yeah, so she was one of the OGs, and Christy Stevens was like one of the OGs on the keys.
She's awesome.
But just through the seasons, like through the last 12 years, just bringing in and like training and like raising up musicians from different places.
Yeah.
And even people outside of Fort St. John, bringing them in and just like figuring out what they need and like, and not just raising them up musically, because like I don't have an interest in just making great musicians.
Yeah.
I have an interest in like making great disciples that can go out into the world and live kingdom lives.
Yeah.
And so that's been our heart, is just doing that.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so through that, even publicly, like I love to just
honor just Dean and Kelly and giving us that space that
right. They were the ones that invited you down there.
Yeah, for sure. Just
No
just
way.
Let us go ham. They just
Yeah.
let us like
we've had some
experience.
absolute incredible times down there. They're just absolutely phenomenal.
Yeah.
That they just opened the door for us to do that. So we just
cool.
really love them and bless them.
So through COVID, then you guys started traveling,
Yeah.
right, and
Yeah.
doing worship.
Ironically.
Ruah.
Yeah. We started out as Peace Valley worship.
Oh. And how'd that go?
It was a
It lasted a week or two.
Our whole team was like, this name sucks.
Yeah. It was terrible.
That's like calling your church a something community church.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It wasn't
Who came up with Ruah?
It was actually we were in New Brunswick visiting my family.
Yeah.
And God had been like working on all of our hearts, just that like he had a different name for us. And Tyson Billings had a couple of different words. And then we went to my grandparents' church, which every time we go back there, we serve and we jump in and we do worship with them and like help train up their teams and whatever. And the pastor there, which is Brian Bork.
Yeah. He's actually in Calgary now, but
no, he's back.
He's
East
back.
Coast.
Amazing. Amazing.
He's got new things on the horizon, but
Awesome.
he was leading a sermon and he said to everybody in the sermon, "Let out your ruah." And immediately I was like, "That's it. That's the word."
Yeah.
And so I was,
Shout.
and I didn't even know what that meant at the time. It was,
Yeah.
and I assumed it had, because everybody in the room just was like, "Wah!" And I was like, I'm assuming it means something with shout. So I'm like Googling, what does this even mean? And literally I sent it to our team because I was like, hey, I just think I heard the name of our team, like who we are.
Wow.
And everybody was like, yes. And then when we were Googling it, it actually lined up like perfectly with the words that Tyson had received over our team.
Yeah.
Unanimous and better than Peace Valley River worship.
Peace Valley River.
But it should have been called like Peace Valley River Praise.
Oh, that would have been perfect.
Like you would have found yourself in a lot different environment.
Yeah, totally.
The Gaithers.
That's kind of the vibe. So Ruah is definitely a better fit.
Yeah.
But yeah, shout of praise, blast of the trumpet, a war cry.
That's what we carry 100%.
Yeah.
The Lord's
Love that. Yeah. And I agree with that. You guys totally do. You guys are definitely like out of the box thinkers and not your normal Joe.
Yeah.
And I realized that when you were down at Kings Valley and when Dean and Kelly gave you so much freedom.
Yeah.
And I came to a worship service and all of a sudden Josh grabs a chainsaw and fires it up. I don't think it had a blade on it. It was safe. It was safe.
And I went through the crowd. There was like 100 young people and like all the parents were there.
What was the song? Was it like the Family First Five song or something? Or was it a worship song?
Chainsaw. Yeah.
Crank it.
Yeah, crank it like a chainsaw.
Crank it like a chainsaw.
Yeah.
It's like,
the parents were definitely concerned.
All you can smell is gas.
Oh yeah, it's in this building. Josh is holding up this chainsaw without a blade, and just like, I'm like, whoa.
The craziest thing is that literally for years after that, we had to start every worship service
with a chainsaw
with that song.
Man,
at camp.
Yeah,
yes, not in normal settings, but at camp.
Everyone would make us do it. It was like,
but it was so cute because we had like little Michelle Sampson.
Oh,
her little. Well, he's not little anymore, but he was.
He was like
young.
4 or 5.
He would bring his little tiny toy chainsaw and he would go around the crowd like Josh did that first time with his little chainsaw
That is so
or the
funny.
Cornelson. But it was so fun.
Yeah, awesome.
This is what I learned from the worship leader. Crank it. When did the desire for a school start dropping? And then second question into like, what do you see with the future of Evangel Music School? Like, what are your dreams and desires? But first, when did it start?
Our dream to have a school of worship.
Yeah.
That started even before we were married. Honestly, again, like we had so many dreams and visions about what our future would look like. And even like before we got married, and even while we were married, Josh, like he was in Bible school taking Bible courses, because at that time we thought this is the only way that we can bring these dreams to fruition.
Right. How long? A year?
He did 3 years.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Just under 3 years, actually.
Were you going for an undergrad, or did you get a
I was going for just like a 3-year diploma, like
and you
youth
got
ministry. No, I'm like literally like 5 courses short.
Oh, crazy.
Yeah, maybe 7. Yeah, somewhere around there.
We had kids.
Yeah,
that's what happened.
We had kids, and I was working like crazy, and I was trying to like do 2 or 3 courses at a time.
No,
it was like
maybe
I moved too much. It's just like
too fidgety.
I kept him on his toes.
Yeah.
Well, when he cranked up the chainsaw in class, they kicked him out. Probably.
Yeah.
They're like, this guy can't get his diploma.
We can't let this guy have a church.
So you've had the dream and desire for a long time. It's just been like
long.
where, when, how,
and at even 20 years ago, like when this started, it wasn't this full picture view. It was just this knowing that this is where God was calling us. Like this was the avenue, the lane, the road that we were like walking down, and we didn't. Looking back on it now, it's like always like, hindsight's 2020. Like you can see where that dream, where this vision was birthed, and it literally was before we were married. And just through the years, just everything, like God is just so cool how he just like weaves and orchestrates and puts you in places where you learn the right things at the right times. Again, I would say that the more fully rounded view, or like the bigger, the fuller picture view of this, the holistic. Yeah, that's a good word. There you go. You'd think me as an English teacher would have known that, but you as the pastor that has to write sermons every week, you've got this. Again, like that view probably came, I want to say, between like maybe 10 years ago.
Right.
I would say probably about 10 years ago, where we just really, again, we had entered into this space of like him doing youth group, working with worship teams. I was teaching at the school, which is CLS, and like helping out with different things in chapel, and just realizing we both loved this.
Right. Yeah.
But also realizing or seeing like there's a really big lack of understanding of like what worship really is. Because again, like, and even for us, like we didn't even realize until, again, probably in that moment or in those moments where you're like, oh man, like we've just taken worship for granted. Like you just like, you just slap together a set and you just slap people on the stage and you just, and whatever happens. And there was just we realized it was just a big misunderstanding. And so of what genuine worship, what we were truly called to do in worship. And so I would say, about 10 years ago, and just been walking that out, with more like it's the hunger to do this has gotten more and more intense over the last 10 years, to the point where like, I would say, especially for me, again, Josh has been such an amazing provider in our family. And so for him, he can just like put his head down and just like go to work. And like, and I think it's a guy thing. Like they just like, they know that they have to provide for their family. And so they'll just do that at whatever cost. But for me, it's probably been like even a source of contention a little bit, where I'm just like, I just want to walk out in what God's called us to walk out in now. And this was like probably 5 years ago, where I was just like, this is not what we're supposed to be doing. And just like such a sense of like discontentment
in terms of the work that you were doing.
Just in terms of like everything, like just like knowing that like God had these big plans and purposes for the city of Fort St. John, and for us, and for the people of Fort St. John, and just like, again, like, and just the church, the bride of Christ within Fort St. John, and even out further than that, because again, we've traveled lots of different places, and even knowing there, it's like, And just again, and then words, right? Just like prophetic words over the last, oh gosh.
I'll say the last 2 or 3 years has been crazy.
The last 2 or 3 years has been absolutely crazy.
Yeah.
But like even I want to go back even further to like the last 6 years where it's just been like words of like, it's like God's going to take you and you're going to be raising up worship leaders in the nations.
Yeah.
And just like, and again, it's just like, I want that right now. Like just that super impatient, like that fleshy side where it's like, I know this and I want it and I want it right now.
Yeah. Interesting. Isn't it interesting just on that, like how vastly different the Lord's timing is than ours. Even when you get like a prophetic word, it feels like, oh yeah, I think that kind of fits for now. And then it's like 3.5 years later, you're reminded or see in your journal that prophetic word, and you're like, whoa, that is for now. 3.5 years later.
Oh, totally.
Or you feel like he's calling you into an obedience or whatever, and it's like,
Totally.
we always think it's like right now, and it's like, man, God's speed so different than our speed,
so different.
you know.
And even like for me, like I had a prophetic word when I was on a mission trip in Mexico when I was 15. So this was long before I ever met Josh, and that it was prophesied over me at 15 that my husband and I were going to open a school and we were going to be surrounded by children and people, and that we were going to be raising up people in the kingdom together side by side. And that was when I was like 15, and I was just like, again, hairy teenager, not doing everything I needed to do for the kingdom. But so it's just, again,
that
it's
is so
word
cool.
after word.
And even that, like you're always asking like the Lord, like before coming to Evangel, we've been Evangel like 2 years now, I guess. Before that, it's like, man, like Lord, like what the heck? Where do you want us to do this? Like, you know. So I thought, oh, maybe I'll build a shop, and maybe we could do it in my shop, or like, you know. But at that point,
which
we're like,
could still happen. I mean, the Lord could still use that or whatever. It's like we just don't know.
100%. But it's just like, man, like, but how he orchestrated everything and how he works everything out is amazing. It's just you know, just seeing the hand of the Lord on our lives. Just like I could write a book on it, which I probably should.
You should, and you should start with a rap.
I can rap the book.
I could do it.
Okay, when you first stepped into Evangel, kind of, I mean, you guys had been here on and off for different things and events and stuff. Josh was in Africa.
Yeah.
Not because that's where he's from. He was on a missions trip to Africa. And you stepped in, you were out in the lobby. Yeah. Lord spoke to you. What did he say? And then what was, I want to hear Logan's prophetic word over you guys too.
So 2-ish years ago, Sarah had just started up her dance school. Yeah. Sarah Bashaw.
The Groove.
And so my kids were a part of that, and it was the mid-year, the March, showcase here. Josh was in Africa, and I had been coming off and on to like some of your, because I think there was like a lot of prayer summits and like worship nights happening in that, so I've been connecting in and out a little bit with that while he was gone. And just I went and I stood out in the foyer because there was snack tables, and I like snacks.
What's a foyer?
The lobby. Is
that a lobby?
Sorry, as a East Coaster, I don't even know. I don't even know if that's an East Coast.
It's like when people say the sanctuary. I'm like, what's a sanctuary? The auditorium.
The auditorium. We totally call it a sanctuary.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You gotta stop. No, we gotta speak the same language.
Auditorium. I was in the lobby, and I just laid my hands on the wooden tables that we have out there, and God just literally spoke to me as like clear as if he was standing here with me right now, and just said like that I was gonna open this school, the music school, that I was gonna have the desires of my heart that I'd always been dreaming of, but I was going to do it here, like through Evangel. And I was like, Lord. It's like, and there was a part of me that was like, was that just me? Was that just my flesh? But I'm like, first of all, that's not how I sound. But it was literally, it was just, and it was a super, ballsy. Can I say that on the podcast?
This is the Backstage Pastor. Logan sings AC/DC.
That sounds so ballsy. Like, I don't even attend this church, because at the time we were not attending this church. And so I was like, that isn't right. And then literally, as I'm like literally dreaming this out with the Lord while standing with my hands on the table. Selena Majid comes up to me and she was like, hey, she's like, I just like, how amazing like would it be if you just like opened up your school here?
Crazy. And
she's my best friend and I've shared that.
Yeah.
I mean, she's known that dream about Josh and I forever. And she, just like in that moment, like, and I'm just like, wow. I was like, I'm literally just standing here, like having a conversation with the Lord about this.
Cool.
So it was just super cool. And even in that moment, like Michaela Wood was there with me and she was like, what about like, and it was just like, and I was like, I don't even attend this church, guys. Like that's a really, but it was just such a crazy, I don't know, moment where it was just like,
out of the blue,
could this be a real thing? Like,
and then Logan's word too. He shared that this last Sunday, which by the way, you guys can go see the live stream and watch it. We got to pray over Josh and Destiny and announce this for the first time. But what was Logan's word in brief?
Again, gone down at Kings Valley Camp doing young adults camp with Logan and Jordan. Yeah. And again, had not shared our dream with him. Like again, we had met with him, talked about the young adults camp, different things. But in the middle of young adults camp, he came down and Josh was standing beside me, but he was speaking specifically to me in this. And he just like prophesied that God was going to, like, he was going to open up like a school, like he was going to give me the dream, like he was going to give me the desires and the dreams of my heart. And then he gave me the timeline,
which was
2 years
from the current date. Which is
this fall.
So crazy.
Yeah. And he usually doesn't, like Logan always says, I usually don't give timelines. Like, like
and generally we push against like stay away from dates, mates, and marriages.
Yeah.
But that's so crazy. That's wild. And it's not like, you know, we've had this dream and I've been like, you know, thinking about this and we've been praying about it and stuff and like looking for the right people and like what is the right time and what does this look like?
Yeah.
And it's not like Logan, you know, is necessarily in on that and thinking that. It's just like fully out of the blue.
Yeah. It was just
2 years.
Wild like and I just broke in that because again, here is the next gen pastor of the church that literally a few months ago the Lord is saying this is what you're gonna do, and he's just prophesying a word over me, and I'm like, I don't even know. Again, I'm like,
and he literally knows nothing about it, like nothing.
It was just such an insane.
He knows we do worship, he knows we play worship, he knows we travel and stuff like that.
And I still didn't even confirm in him. Like I didn't even after that word, I didn't say to him like, this is what we want.
Right.
Like,
yeah. You're just
it
like,
was
thanks.
literally like. I don't even know if I said thanks because I'm pretty sure I was such a disastrous mess on the floor that I couldn't even like thank him for that or elaborate in any capacity. But it was just so crazy because then again, and at that point again, we still were not attending Evangel. Like there still was not.
Man, it took you guys so long to see the light, eh?
So bad.
What took you so long? What took you so long?
And again, we were talking, and I think probably
this
literally
is coming
right
out of
after
COVID.
That. Yeah. Like I think it was probably like right after that young adults camp, and it was actually like seeing Logan's heart and just like his heart for like the youth and young adults of the city.
Cool. That guy's freaking amazing.
Yeah.
Come on.
And coming to like the worship and prayer nights was just like, and seeing what God was doing, we were just like, how can we not be here? Like,
that's so cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, Logan is amazing. And I know he listens to all these too. In fact, Logan, here's a little test. If you are listening to this, you need to text me. Text me the word.
That's so funny.
The word crocodile, if you're hearing this. I got to test him. Okay, so what happened when I came to you? When was this? A year ago? Maybe 8 months ago?
Yeah, give or take.
And kind of proposed this idea. It wasn't like a, hey, let's do this, but like just initially propose.
Yeah, I mean, I remember, we chatted so many different things in the beginning, and even just like how we could start this and like we could start it out like a soft start and different things.
Steps.
Like small steps. What happened? You mean for us or in general?
Yeah. Well, when I shared with you, it wasn't like it wasn't like a job offer.
No,
it was like hey, we have had this dream for a long time. You guys have had a similar dream, similar track.
Yeah.
Let's start talking about this.
These things together.
Did you feel
fear?
Yeah.
I felt
what was
fear.
what was that?
Because again, do you want to talk?
No, you're just over here. I just want to make sure you're speaking in the mic, honey.
You're trying to move it forward. Pull that right desk. Just yoink that right close and lower so we can. Yeah, there you go.
There.
There you go.
Yeah,
vocal
I
teacher.
experienced fear, because it was like everything that I had thought about was starting to bubble.
Right.
Right. Like I felt it underneath the surface. Like again, like I just felt this like rumbling of like, ooh, but also in a place where it was like fear that, well, can I even do this?
Right.
And fear.
Like, is this actually happening?
Is this a thing? Could this be a thing? Yeah. You know, and then also, of course, like, do I have the skill set to do this?
Right.
Just silly things.
Yeah.
All the different things.
Is Jimmy a weirdie? What are the staff like?
But again, and then I think in that also knowing, like how does this practically work out in our lives right now? Because originally when we had talked about it the first time, it was like, hey, let's do a youth, like let's construct a youth team, or like, again, like something, our thought process was like, or something that, you know, like they could play in Junior Kid City or youth or young adults on Tuesdays or Wednesday.
I forgot about that.
Yeah.
That was the initial kind of idea.
Yeah. That we could roll it out like that. And my immediate thought was like, how am I going to do this with, and I took it to the Lord, because I'm like, how am I going to do this, Lord, with 3 kids, a husband, and a full-time job?
Yeah.
And still manage to stay upright and keep everybody fed. And my answer was, I can't.
Yeah.
I can't do that. And I think just over time we had talked about different ways that this could all look.
Yeah.
Like as time progressed over the last whatever year, 8 months. But there was just always a side of me that was like, how am I going to do this? And also this knowing
because you had a full-time job.
Yes.
Still do.
I still do.
Have you told them yet?
Yes, they know.
Good.
But then there was also the other side where it was like, Josh wasn't quite ready. You can tell your side of this story.
Yeah. Go there, John.
Yeah, definitely.
Hey, as vulnerable as you want to be.
Yes,
this is the Backstage pastor.
Yeah. Definitely, we had lots of hot tub conversations.
We call them intense moments of fellowship.
Yeah.
We got that from Amy and Victor Parks.
Yeah. Yeah, some of them were a little bit intense for sure. But no, I think for me, if I be honest, is had some fear for sure. You know, the job.
Finance.
Well, and the job that she honestly has and and it's phenomenal. I mean, it's as far as we can.
It has actually taken us through the last season of our life where we were able to travel.
We could travel. We could do
dream job.
Yeah, we can just go right. We could just take her laptop and we can head to Hawaii.
Yeah,
if we wanted to, which was amazing, right? And then so I think one of the biggest fears is like, okay, like if you start working for Evangel full time, we have a month holidays. It's like, okay, how does this work if we want to go home for a month and all of the things, right? But just through just talking
even
about
before that, we had talked about me just not working. Like even before.
Right. Like playing with the idea.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because that was where my heart was. I was like, I'm just going to quit my job.
Yeah. And just trust the Lord.
And I'm just going to trust the Lord that He's just going to provide. And Josh was like, whoa.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How do we
I get that.
survive?
I get that, Josh.
Yeah. Totally.
It feels like, okay, Lord, we're going to trust you. We will obey. We will. But can you just give us a hint of the direction or what's coming?
Yeah. 100%.
I get that.
Yeah. So there's definitely fear. But then again, once I come to my senses and I just take it to the Lord and I
pray and just listen and just pray and just listen.
Right.
And, I definitely, not right away, but I definitely started just to feel a peace and be like, you know what, you have, like, Lord, you have this. Like, this is nothing. Like, whether Destiny is working for the church or she's volunteering or whatever it is, Lord, like, you have us in your hand. Like, if this is your will, you'll work all the small details and the big details. Big details of you give us the desires of our heart. So just through that process, just eventually feeling just peace about it, and just feeling like, Lord, you have us in your hands, and we just trust you.
So cool. So good. What are some of your how much? Oh wow, we have like 5 minutes left. It's Josh's rap. That's our intro that just took forever. So obviously this is only the start. And we have Evangel has some big dreamers, but also talented dreamers too. Like we have some big people that like I really look up to for their leadership, for their character, for their talents, and how they're stewarding their talents and everything. This is step one of this venture, and believe me, it's gonna be big. Like, it's gonna be big. It's gonna be good. I think we're gonna see the community transformed. I think we're gonna see so many different unity in different churches, and people walking not only more in their gifting and talents, whether it's music or whether it's a worship track, or whether it's a theology track or pastoral or whatever it is, but people being discipled along the way, people becoming more like Jesus, people learning to love more, like all sanctification. And so this is the start, the Evangel Music School. The tiniest start, which I think is just going to be so big. And we're super excited. By the way, I don't know if I said this to our people, but we are bringing Destiny on full time starting this fall, which we said on Sunday. So it's no new news here. Is that new news to you?
No.
Did you know that, Josh? Did I run that by you?
I do now.
That's what we're doing. And so Destiny's going to be our music and arts pastor. And obviously titles can change because we've changed Vadim's like 17 times. But knowing that like your guys' heart for worship, it's so much bigger than music, and it's so much bigger than just arts. It's like there's so much going on there. So we're bringing you on, in case you didn't know, this is your announcement, let you know, this fall with kicking off the Evangel Music School, music and arts, really. Actually, I think, fun fact, we searched on the website in different domains, and we searched music and arts. It wasn't available. Evangel Music School was available. And so we were kind of like, God, what should we call it? And we were like, maybe we should just go simpler. And Vadim found that domain, which is nice and simple.
Totally.
Which is super cool. Which, by the way, if you guys have not checked out the website, www.evangelmusicschool.com, go check it out. What do you see, Destiny? What do you feel like the Lord's going to do? How do you see this? How do you see this as, for the first couple years? I know you've signed like a 20-year contract. So how do you see those 20 years playing out?
That's a lot for you to deal with.
Where's that contract?
So funny. Again, like, obviously, like anything, you start somewhere.
Come on.
And this fall, it starts with, it looks like, again, obviously we have all the different classes available for people within the church and in our community to come and develop their musical abilities. But more than that, my heart in this, or our heart in this, and even vision. I know like your guys' heart, as are all of our hearts as like a leadership team at Evangel, is actually to be able to, even just in this first initial small step of just opening our doors, is to bring people into the church, again, raise up people who are musically talented.
Yeah.
But more than that, to help people find their God-given gifts.
Right.
And again, looks like music lessons for some. But beyond that is actually being able to mentor and disciple.
Yeah.
To walk hand in hand with people in the church and in our community, where it's like, again, we don't ever stop being the hands and feet of Jesus. Just because you're coming in for music lessons doesn't mean that I'm not gonna give an opportunity or leave room and space for to pray for you if you need it.
Yeah. No, for sure.
Again, we have so many just like anointed people in this building, but again, we have anointed instructors, and their hearts, every single one of our hearts,
good ones too,
is just to, again, like, not just focus on like making amazing musicians, but making amazing people. Seeing this community just come into a place of revival.
So good.
That's
preach
comes down to, even just like I said, our 30-minute vocal lessons. It's like, I want to take you and I want to walk hand in hand with you. Even if it's just for 5 minutes or if it's for all 30, I want to see you. Not just, I don't want to just give you a service. I want to like be of service to you in a kingdom way. I want to raise up big people. I want to raise up leaders, both in the community and in the kingdom. And that's my heart in this. And we have the worship track. Which is, again,
exciting.
Specifically for people who want to grow in that area, who know that God has called them to serve in the body in a worship capacity. We're all called to worship, every single one of us. But again, for some people, it's like, like for myself, I know that I am called to lead in worship. I'm called to be a leader in that area in the body. And so we also have the worship track for that, where it's like, we want to walk, not just, again, like I'm not interested in just teaching you music lessons. I'm interested in walking with you, in discipling you, in bringing in people from not even just Fort St. John, but if we can nail down like a Stephanie Gretzinger.
Let's go.
Dream big.
The dreams are big, and the dreams are big.
To come and do workshops and like work with people, and that's just like the start. It's not like, again, it's
bigger than what
music,
we could think.
And the creative arts.
So
again, like, my vision in this is like to have a bustling epicenter of like local and not local musicians and artists who are coming to the city of Fort St. John and are being raised up in their God-given gifts of music, of the creative arts, of acting arts, whatever. Like, there's just so many dreams that are happening in my head, but it's like, you have to start somewhere.
Yes. Yeah. And knowing too, it's the talent part is a huge part as well too. Obviously, like, developing in the gift, but it's a huge part of worship as well. In terms of like the musical aspect of worship, obviously worship is so many technical aspects, more broad than that.
Like, there's just so much to it in the practical sense. I'm like,
and we're excited for our even with our building, we've been able to like invest in some different tech sound stuff that we haven't upgraded in a long time, just super out of date. And we've just realized you so quickly come to a place where you realize, like, oh, not only do we need to be like working on for our prayer summits or for One Kings or whatever, it's like excellence in the tech area. We need excellence in the musical ability as well of our people. And it's like,
Yeah.
and we wanted a way to be able to pour into our people, our worship teams in a practical way and to work on drum stuff and stay in with the click and work on keys and vocal stuff.
Yeah.
And so it's a beautiful way for us to like pour into our people as well. Like obviously this is for everyone. This is all ages. This is for the peace. This is for the world.
Yeah.
But it's a beautiful way for Evangel to pour into our people to like be striving for excellence in every single area of life.
Yeah.
You know,
so good.
100%.
It's exciting. It's super, super exciting what the Lord is doing. And I think September is going to come fast, Destiny. And we're rolling this out. But I just want to honor you guys and say that like, I can't think of a better couple duo. And I mean, we've hired Josh. We just aren't paying him anything. He also is going to be 80 hours a
Get
week.
one, you get both.
Yeah.
But I can't think of a better duo and like to lead the Evangel music school and into arts and into worship and stuff. And I just really want to honor you guys, like your guys' character and who you are and how you guys honor people. And I've never ever heard you speak ill of somebody or like push somebody down so that you can feel lifted up. Like your guys' character has just blown me away at every single turn, which has so much high value to me, because I think a lot of times, I'm going to get preachy here, but a lot of times we judge people or we judge Christians or we judge ourselves according to our intake. In other words, am I going to church and am I doing this and am I living like this and am I reading my Bible and am I doing that? All these intakes. But scripture says the very opposite. No, you actually will know them by their fruit, which is the outflow. That's not the intake. So it's like, who cares if you're going to church and if you say you're walking with the Lord and you're spending time in your Bible? What is your fruit like? What is the outflow like? What is the overflow like? Right? Yeah. And so I just want to say, like, your guys' overflow and what comes out of you is just so, so beautiful. And these aren't just empty words. When you guys say you want to disciple people, I can genuinely say, Paul in scripture says, imitate me as I imitate Christ, which means he's saying I'm followable. Yeah. In other words, if you want to become more like Christ, Paul is saying you can do what I do, speak like I speak, think like I think, and you will become more like Christ. And I can say for people to come under your guys' ministry and under this ministry and under Evangel Music School, for them to become more like you is to become more like Christ. Well, it actually is. And so I just like value you guys so much. And know that like, this is going to be fun. This is going to be good. This is going to be hard. This is going to be like all the things. Like we're just, we're learning, you know, we have our mentors, we have our people that are speaking into our lives, but like, I'm super excited, man.
We're so pumped. Yeah.
Like, this is awesome. This is going to be good. Any last final things you guys would say? Like, Josh, is there something that you've just been burning to say, or something that would just be a good exclamation mark to this?
Just to sign up this fall, like
yes,
you know, go to our website, check it out.
Yeah.
We're constantly changing things. We're constantly
it's becoming more and more vast. For sure.
Right, but just to sign up.
What is the website, Josh?
Evangel, www.
Come on, yeah.
evangelmusicschool.com.
Woo! Yes.
And I just want to say I'm just super excited. I'm super excited to have an opportunity to just meet more people and to just
come on and overflow.
Be a light in the community in a way that we have not had a chance to be.
Yeah. And to continue to use our gifts and the talents that God has given us to pour into others and see others flourish and grow. And it's exciting. Yeah.
Come on. Okay. You guys heard it here. And by the way, for all ages, this isn't just for kids.
All ages.
All ages.
One thing, I just got to say this. I normally am low on words, but today I just got lost words. I was always inspired by my dad. He always picked up like a new hobby or a new thing. You know the saying, "Oh, you can't teach an old dog new tricks."
Yeah.
It's like, man, Dad was always picking up something new. And I think when he turned like 55, he's like, I need to learn the guitar. You know, we were all taking piano and learning stuff. And so he started taking guitar lessons at 55. Pick it up. I think for like
That's
a
actually
year,
crazy.
maybe 2 years.
That's amazing.
So this is for everybody. It's not just for young kids. And I would just say, man, if you think this is for you, talk to the Lord. Ask Jesus. I mean, we're always pushing people to Jesus, and just ask if this is for you. Also, we want to say this. I know this isn't fully rolled out yet about the sponsor thing.
Yeah, come on.
But we have a deep, deep desire.
So good.
Obviously, we are charging for this, and we have to charge for this. A worker is worthy of their wages, and Destiny is hired full time, and we are paying the instructors. They're not being slaves here. And so, but that being said, I do think we will offer an amazing product for the money that you will spend.
Yeah.
But also, we are a church, and we love people so much, and we want an avenue that, like, if you are not able to afford it, or you are having hard times, or it's just tough, or you've been through a crazy time, like, we want to be here for you, whether that's like a random one-off, Evangel helping, or whether that's people sponsoring different people. And so we aren't going to say a ton about that, but we just know that there are people that would love to, like, pour into our community that way.
Come on.
Through, like, hey, we aren't necessarily going to, fix your fence or buy you a new car or groceries, but we would love to pay for your children or whatever to get lessons.
Yeah.
So that's coming down the pike. We'll have more on that later, but
Come on.
okay. Love you guys. Thanks for tuning in to the Backstage Pastor, and love you guys. Thanks for coming on the podcast.
Love you, Jimmy.
See you guys next week.
Thanks, guys.